Hey guys, it's Michelle from Cozyegg. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And this is Ramsey's right up here. You'll probably see Tut here in a minute. But anyway, today is Thursday, December 29th, 2016. So almost to the new year. And this is episode 22. So, welcome. If you are a new viewer, thanks for stopping by to check me out. And I hope that you will become a returning viewer. If you are returning, thank you so much for continuing to tune in and watch and subscribe and leave comments and all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. And on my YouTube videos, I try to put a link to my blog so that you can go directly to my blog. I post the videos on my blog as well, but that's where I put all of my show notes, links, details of what I've shown, what I've talked about, all that good stuff. So if there's anything that you have a question about or are interested in knowing more about, of course, leave me a comment. I'm happy to respond to those. But just also know that you can take a look at my blog, and I try to get all of the information uploaded there as well. So let's dig in. Like I said, I wanted to get one more video in before the end of the year. And I'm actually recording this early morning on Thursday. So yeah, let's get to it, because I have a ton of stuff to show you. So get your coffee, settle in, and we'll jump right to it. So I have no finishes. Since the last time I recorded, I've not finished anything. I think I just kind of got to that point in the year where I realized that, the things that I had intended to get done this year didn't, and it just wasn't going to happen in the last week. So I wasn't really working too hard to try to push to get anything finished because I knew that, everything that I really wanted to get done was going to take a lot more than a week to finish. So, no finishes. But I wanted to do just a quick kind of recap of 2016 as far as my stitching and everything goes. So I had 19 stitching finishes, which sounds pretty impressive when you think about it. Most of those were very small pieces. So, of course, my big piece, my big, kind of finish for the year actually happened last January. So it was the first piece that I pulled out of my whip jar, which was my hairpins piece by Patrick's Woods. And of course, all of the stitching had been finished on that for quite some time. And I pulled it, the first project, out of the box. I pulled that on January 1st and just worked until I got the finishing done. And I was able to finish it, I think within a week or two of pulling it out. So it's sad that it's sat so long unfinished, especially since I was so obviously close to getting it done. But I'm thrilled to have it finished, and certainly go back and, and take a look at my video from last year. I think I showed it. If not, there's photos of it on my blog, so you can take a look at that. It's a stitching wallet and then all the smalls that go with it. So that was kind of my big finish for the year. And then the second project that I pulled out of my whip jar to work on and focus on was Anniversaries of the Heart. And obviously that did not get finished this year. And because that was my focus project, I basically stitched on that exclusively until like August or something, when I just sort of went off the rails and didn't stitch on it for a while. And so part of what makes up those 19 finishes are, of course, each of those blocks on Anniversaries of the Heart is a separate chart. And so I am counting each of those separate charts as a finish. And I actually finished 4 Anniversaries of the Heart blocks in 2016. So, of course, I think I needed to finish like 10, but whatever. And then, a couple other things that I thought were significant. I pulled out my Halloween neighborhood round robin again. I talked about that quite a bit last time, or the last couple of times. So I pulled that out again and dug it out of the back of the closet where it had been languishing for years and years because I was so disgusted with the whole thing. But I pulled that out again. I have a plan for what to stitch on it. I was able to stitch, 1 new block, which of course I counted as a finish because it was a piece unto itself. Which was my Primitive Needle by the Light of the Moon that I stitched on there. And then, of course, I ripped out that 1 block that has always bothered me and started stitching over that with that Witch Hat House. So I feel really good about pulling that out again, getting it to a place where I could move forward with it, and was excited about stitching on it again. So I think that was a big thing this year. And then, of course, as part of getting my Halloween neighborhood round robin out, what's prompted that was dark 13 stitching. And then, of course, that led into dark October stitching. So I'm so excited that so many of you have decided to join Emily and I, Emily from Eclectic Possessions, to join both of us doing dark 13 stitching, where we stitch something dark and creepy on the 13th of the month. And then, of course, dark October stitching, where we stitched on dark and creepy stuff all month. So my plan is to continue that in 2017. And I look forward to working on my round robin some more on the 13th of each month. So that's my plan. And of course, I started the Village of Hawk Run Hollow with Abby, doing that, a stitch along on Instagram, as well as we have the Facebook group, Let's All Move to Hawk Run Hollow, where you can join us and stitch on any of the Hawk Run Hollow pieces. So I started Village September 1st. Also prompted by, watching Emily's old videos where she had started Village, and she and Tattooed Stitcher had started that Sal. So that was kind of my 2016. And as far as books read, I had set a goal on Goodreads to read 25 books in 2016. I've had that same goal for the past several years and never come close to hitting it. I think the most I ever got was 17 or something. So I actually finished up my 25th book a couple of days ago, and I'm thrilled that I met my goal, and I'm thrilled that I'm reading again and enjoying it, and I read some really good books this year, including the last one that I just finished. So I'm really thrilled about that, and I'm thrilled that I was able to meet that goal. So I'm setting a goal of 25 books again in 2017, and so I'm going to put that goal up on Goodreads. So yeah, so that was 2016. So let's talk about my plans for 2017. Actually, no, let's back up a second, because I want to show you my whips and what I've been working on, which isn't a whole lot. So I mentioned last time that I've been struggling a little bit to kind of settle, and I just wasn't feeling it. Like everything I picked up, I just wasn't all that interested in. And so I was just sort of floating from piece to piece, but not really stitching on anything. And so what I did the other day, and you'll have to excuse me because I have like a whole pile of stuff here. to show you, so I will probably be moving out of the frame a little bit while I try to get myself put together here. Maybe. Possibly. I've got a bunch of stuff in a tote bag and it just doesn't want to stand up, so. Okay. So, you know, I like I said, I've been trying to, you know, work on stuff, not happening, etc. So what I ended up doing is a couple days before Christmas, I actually pulled out my Henry VIII, Six Wives of Henry VIII piece by Primitive Hair to work on, and I'm going to show you that here in a minute. But I worked on that one night and I was like, oh, I'm loving this. I'm enjoying stitching again. I feel settled. This is great. So I stitched on that one night, and then I kind of got a bee in my bonnet that I wanted to stitch on something Christmassy. But I wasn't really feeling my Christmas celebration sampler, which I had been working on, because I think I'm going to have to change the color thread in that border. If my fabric was just that natural linen color, that raw color, I think that the white border would be fine. But because I have those white polka dots, it's just getting lost. So I think I'm gonna try out a couple different options for the border. Anyway, so I threw that aside, but I wanted to stitch on something Christmassy. So I pulled out this old whip that I have, and this is Peace on Earth by Blackbird Designs. I'll show you the chart here in a minute. But I pulled this out and I basically got all of this stitched and then all of this stitched. And I did that just in a couple of days, like the day before Christmas, Christmas Day. And so I really enjoyed working on that. And there's my little needle minder, my little Christmas tree. This was actually a pin that my grandmother gave me, and I cut the pin part off the back and glued a magnet on and made it into a little pin keep, because needle minder, I mean, because I'm just never gonna wear it. So this is the pattern. So Blackbird Designs, Peace on Earth. This was a loose feathers pattern from years ago, 2007. So this was back when, you know, I was on an automatic for all of the loose feathers charts, along with the fabric and the threads. Yeah, those days are over. But anyway, so there's the whole thing. It's I think it's a really pretty piece, but this business gets old. So anyway, I enjoyed working on that for the couple of days that I worked on it. Not sure when I'll get back to it, but it helped me kind of get my act back together. So those are really the only couple of things that I worked on. Like I said, I'll show you Henry VIII here in a minute. So that's what I've been working on the past, few days since I recorded last. So 2017. So I've been thinking long and hard about what I want to do for 2017, because my plan that I had for 2016 was that I, had pulled the 10 whips, put, each one on a little slip of paper, put it in a box. January 1, I pulled the first one, which was hairpins, finished that, pulled the second one, which was Anniversaries of the Heart, and then tried to just focus on that. My thought was to get it done, of course. But I didn't get it done. I got burnt out, and by September, I had thrown it all, to the wind. So I've been trying to think, how can I work on these whips that are making me so crazy and get them done, because I'm feeling super overwhelmed with the amount of whips that I have. But that hasn't stopped me from starting new things. But I really want to get some of these whips done. But obviously pulling one thing and just focusing on that until it's done doesn't work out so well, especially with a big piece like Anniversaries of the Heart. While I had kind of, small finishes within that larger finish, it was just the same piece over and over again. And one of the things that Eric mentioned to me as we were, as I was framing and hanging my some of my stitching in the stairwell there, Eric said, it's no wonder that you get burnt out on stitching on a certain piece or certain pieces, because every piece of fabric that you stitch on is brown. And he's not wrong. He's like, you love color and you love, working on things that are colorful and exciting and different. And if all you're doing is working on brown fabric, beige fabric, maybe that's why you're not excited about it. So that was the other thing that I had been kind of looking at, is maybe I need to break up some of the beige with some different colored fabric and work on some other pieces that are, different. And I had been working so kind of exclusively on samplers, reproduction samplers especially, that, of course they're all on beige fabric. So I thought maybe I need to just mix this up a little bit. So I really got to thinking about it, and I decided that I wanted to do Year of Whips. Of course, I way missed the deadline for signing up for Year of Whips. Melanie had offered about a month ago that she would open it up for people that still wanted to join and participate. And of course, I left that on the table and never got back to her. And so I am starting Year of Whips, whether I am officially part of Year of Whips or not. That's okay with me, but that's what I'm going to do. And I did put an album in the Soulful Stitching group of my Year of Whips pieces. And so the requirements were to pick between 10 and 15, I think was the recommendation, or the guidelines, between 10 and 15 whips that you want to work on and work to get off your plate. And then I think Melanie is doing like specific challenges, like, take the whip that you have the least amount of stitching on and work on that, or, your oldest whip or whatever. So I went through and I tried to look at, what I was interested in working on, but also kind of in the back of my mind, keeping in mind that I wanted to work on some different kinds of things and not just 15 samplers on beige fabric. So I wanted to go through and show you what I chose for my Year of Whips. And hopefully I will make some progress and get some of these things done, because not only do I just really want to be done with them, but I love them and I want them hanging on my wall or out where I can, appreciate them and love them and, all of that. So here we go. And I just realized I totally forgot to show you another whip, so I'll do that at the end. But anyway, so 2017 plan, Year of Whips. Here they are. So And this is where the big bag O stuff comes in. So this may get a little dicey here. We'll see. Because I chose 12, and really I had chosen like 17 or something crazy, and realized, hey, I only got one done last year, so maybe I need to rethink that. So I whittled it down and got it down to 12. I thought 12 was a good number. So the first one, and really the reason that I chose this one is because it keeps popping up in my head and I keep thinking about it. So it is Chatelaine Designs Mermaid Treasure Box. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. And so it's got a stitched lid with a mermaid on it, and then the 4 stitched sides, and then there are smalls that go with it. And I just have this in a notebook. It was an auto download, not auto download, it was a PDF group. But it was online class 4. That's how long ago this is. I was gonna see if I could find a photo of the actual, like, where you could really see the thing, the lid, but it doesn't look like I have a photo in here, so that's okay. But anyway, it's got little smalls, a scissor fob, a case, needle book, blah blah, all of those things. So here is where I'm at on this one. So as you can see, I'm working on the top, and it's all silks. There's some Krynic in there, like this gold, or not Krynic, that Rainbow Gallery treasure braid. That gold is the metallic. So I started this September 26th of 2005. Yeah. And so these are the silks. So pretty, so pretty. Love it. So that has been on my mind a whole lot, which is why I decided that, I'm just gonna get it out and work on it in 2017. So that's where it's at. I think I'm working on these little eyelets in here that are in pink. So, yeah, I love this piece. I think it's gorgeous. I am really excited about getting it out and working on it again. And of course, it's on white fabric. It's on 32 count, it's the called for. And I'm really excited to have it back out and work on it because the colors are lovely. And while it's just sort of a boring, plain white fabric, it's silks, and the silks are beautiful, and it's different from some of the other things that I've been working on. So I'm really excited about working on that one. So then the second one, and part of the reason that I had initially had like 17 whips that I was going to do is because I had like 4 chatelaines on here, and then I decided maybe I need to roll that back a little bit and just work on 2. So this is Mystery 9. Of course, you knew this was going to be on here. This has been a whip since, this was a January 1 start, 2006, and this was a mystery. And so that was when it started, was in 2006. And I love this piece. And I've started beading right here so you can see all that. And this is my needle winder right here, so just ignore that. But it also is in silks, petite treasure braid. There's some pearl right here. And I am beading as I go along. As far as the delicas go, I'm not putting the big crystals on it. And this is on 32 count lavender mist fabric. You can kind of see that it's lavender. It's a little hard to tell, especially in photos. It really kind of washes out, and so it looks like it's white. But anyway, so that is Mystery 9, and I am currently working on part 10, I think. No, I am currently working on beading part 9 out of 12. And here are some of the silks for that. Pretty little things. So, I mean, of course, the last few parts of it are pretty intense. So that one's going to take me a while, but I still want to get it done. It was actually one of my pieces that I wanted to get done this year. Actually, it's been a piece I wanted to get done since 2006, but we're not going to talk about that. All right. Next one is Bay Sampler, and this was started June of 2006. This is a piece by Work Basket. Bay Sampler, there's the whole piece. And my local needle workshop, which has since gone out of business several years ago, they had a model of this up on their wall. I fell in love with it. I wanted to stitch it. It is stitched all in silk and color silks, which I bought, and they're beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And the fabric that I am stitching it on is Picture This Plus. It's 28 count, Picture This Plus, sterling is the color. And so what you may start noticing is a theme, that when I get to a spot where I run into trouble, that's when I tend to stop working on something. So this one caused me lots of trouble. So here's where I'm at. And so a couple of things. So you will notice this big ship here. So the ship has two different color sails on it. It's got this blue color, and then it had more of a kind of grayish blue color that it called for, which was the exact same color as my fabric. So then I went on this quest of trying to find another color that would work. And I think I restitched this top sail like 3 different times And I'm still not happy with it. Like, I hate this color. So I know this is going to have to come out again. Yeah. So that's really the issue with this one, and the reason that I threw it, in the closet. But I love it. It's so pretty. It's really a fun stitch, actually. I love that octopus. I love the little seahorses. They just kill me. So I love this piece. And I have a ton done on it. So, what the heck, Michelle? So that is going to get some attention this year. And it would be awesome if it could get enough attention that I finish it. And here's the other problem that I had with it. So it does call for some specialty stitches, which I don't have a problem with specialty stitches, but it called for satin stitch, and I freaking hate satin stitch. So I satin stitched these windows, hated it. Then I couldn't decide if I wanted to rip that out and re-stitch it as just as cross stitches, or if I wanted to leave it, because there's other places where there's obviously where there's satin stitch. So off with you. So anyway, that's Bay Sampler. I love that piece so much. So I'm hoping that it will get some good attention in 2017. The next one is from March of 2007. And this was a mystery sampler. It was maybe a 5-part mystery sampler from the Gift of Stitching magazine, which was a digital magazine, which has, of course, since gone out of business. I'm looking to see if I can find a picture of the whole thing. Oh yeah, it's not color, but anyway. So this is Mystery Sampler by Papillon Creations that was in Gift of Stitching from 2006. So here's kind of the whole thing. So obviously it's a sampler. And so you had 3 different options for your center. So I had originally thought I was going to do this peacock, but now I'm kind of thinking I may do the little people because they're a little Adam and Eve-ish. So I may do them. So it was charted for hand-dyed fibers, Vicki Clayton. And here are some of the colors better. So, and I'm stitching this on 32 count Sandcastle from Silk Weaver. And that's where I'm at. So the way that they broke it up was like, this is basically part 1, part 2, part 3. So I've got part 4 to do in the center, but I think I have part 3 finished, or pretty darn close to finished. Let's see. Doesn't matter, but I think I've got part 3 finished. So it's just part 4 and part 5. And I enjoy this. I enjoy stitching with it or on it. I don't know why I set it aside other than, it's beige fabric. I don't know. So that is yet another old whip that would be nice if it got some attention. Be nice if it got finished. So that's number 4. This is not moving really fast. The next one is from 2008. This was another January 1 start. And it is so old that the picture from the front of it has come off. So let me kind of hold that on there. So Mirabilia, this is Mermaids of the Deep Blue. And this is my one and only Mirabilia. So, well, I guess I started that Halloween thing. That Halloween chick. So, Mermaids of the Deep Blue, and it is on Stitches and Spice, hand-dyed fabric, and the color is Ocean Waves, 32 count. Stitches and Spice is an Australian company. I don't know if they're still in business or not, but the reason that I went with this fabric, you'll see in a minute. So here's what I have done. Not a lot. And I'm not doing over one skin because at the time that I started this, I knew nothing about over one skin. So I'm just doing it, 2 over 2. So the reason that I wanted this fabric is because, as you can see, it is darker at the bottom and then it gradually gets lighter. And I loved the way that that looked. I love the color of this. I think it's perfect for 2 mermaids. So yeah, I love this piece. I don't love stitching this piece. With all of the freaking, half stitches, quarter stitches, crap on an angle. I don't love it. And it's DMC. But I really want the piece finished. We have several mermaid prints and things up in our master bathroom, so I'd really like to. I would love to have that done. And drinking water bomb. I've got my lemon essential oil in there with my water, which helps me drink my water. So I would really like to have my mermaids finished so that I can hang them with the other mermaids. But that would require me actually stitching on it. So the next one, which you've seen before, this was also a piece that was part of my plans last year. This is a French designer, and somewhere, this is Cuisine d'été, summer cuisine, right? Echevette. And I am stitching it. I started this in 2008. I'm stitching this on 32 count lemon zest from Silk Weaver. So, I don't know if you can. Let's see if I put something behind that. Maybe you can get a better sense of the color. So yeah, it's a really bright, sunshiny, pretty yellow. And I just love the red and green and white against that yellow. So my plan is to put this in my kitchen, because we've got pops of red in there and some yellow. And I just thought it would be a fun kind of cheery piece. It's not a very big piece, so I'm hoping that I can also get that one done. So 32 count lemon zest. And then, of course, because I need to have some samplers, you already saw the mystery sampler. This is another one that I absolutely love. This is in my Tula Pink Parisville bag. And this is a piece that I started with my friend Sylvia, and we started it together in Paris. So, like our first day in Paris, we put our first stitches in. And this is an old piece. It's called Le Marquois de Justine. And this pattern was actually a nightmare to get. So I'm not going to send you to this place if she's even in business anymore, although at the time I ordered it, that was questionable. Then this is probably a prettier picture. This is the reproduction of the original. So this is on hand-dyed fibers, 40 count, light coffee, antiqued with walnut spray. And this is what I have done. So it was actually charted in Gentle Art Sampler threads. I did my own conversion to silks. So, and it's kind of a combo of silks. So I've got some Gloriana, I've got some Avera Soie, this is watercolors, Soie Crystal, Karen Collection, more Avera Soie, Avera Soie, Avera Soie. So just I just did my own conversion. I went to one of my local needlework shops, the Stitch Niche, and I pulled the sampler threads and then just picked out my silks. So I started that February 4th, 2014 in Paris. So I'd love to get that one done, but it is, again, another sampler on beige fabric. So, the next one you have seen before. This is in my macaron bag, fabric bought in Paris. And this is Primitive Wizard of Oz by Midsummer Night Designs. I just love this piece. So it's a tiny little piece. I'm hoping that I can actually just knock that one out. And that is stitched with, I replaced the Kreinik with Petite Treasure Braid. So it's got some DMC, and then the rest of it is Crescent Colors, Classic Colorworks, whatever. I did I am replacing the green that it called for with this Weeks Dye Works Emerald because I thought it was more appropriate for the Emerald City. And it's a prettier green. So, Primitive Wizard of Oz. That brings me to number 9, which is another one that was on my list last year. Colonial Garden. And this is by Plum Street Samplers. I'm stitching it on the called for 40 count Black Forest. Now you know why it's not done. So I talked about this one before. This is, the holes on this are so much smaller than what I'm used to on a 40 count, and I think it's because it's a double dyed linen, so I think it shrunk up a little bit because man, those holes are impossible to see. I actually started this piece as a Valentine's gift for Eric in 2015. Yeah. And I'm stitching this with the called for needlepoint ink NPI silks. So, I actually got all my silks at the attic when I was there in whenever that was, 2014, 2015. It was 2015. So anyway, and then I told you I would talk about Six Wives of Henry VIII, and that one is the next one on my list. It is by, this is the Six Wives of Henry VIII. I think I just have my working copy here. Yes, and there is a horrible photo of the whole piece. So I will link a photo on my blog to what it actually looks like so you can see it. Primitive hair. And I pulled this piece out the other day and worked on it a little bit, which was nice, and it was a little rekindling of my stitching mojo. So my pile is falling. That's where I'm at, and I'm working on Anne Boleyn over here. I love this piece. It's you know, this is another one. It's not a real big piece, so it would be nice if I could kind of knock that one out too. And that's in DMC on 40 count Gonder linen that I coffee dyed myself. And I started that July of 2016. Village of Hawk Run Hollow, Tula Pink bag. And I showed this to you not too long ago, but here it is again. Beige fabric, block 1, block 12. So I would like to get back to working on this regularly. And DMC in my little box. There's the whole thing. Okay, so Village of Hawk Run Hollow. Rustling, rustling, rustling. And then of course, number 12 is Anniversaries of the Heart. So that hasn't changed since the last time you saw it. Beige fabric. So those are my 12 choices for Year of Whips. I do not have a postcard pal. Like I said, I'm not sure that I am even officially signed up, but I put an album out in Soulful Stitching, and now I've made a video of my Year of Whips. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. And so what I think that I'm going to do, because doing this in October for Dark October Stitching, I kind of took Emily Eclectic Possessions lead and rotated each week, which is what she does on a different project. So I think that that's what I'm going to do. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to decide which project to stitch on, but I think I'm going to do a weekly rotation and see if that helps me start to make a little more progress on some of these pieces. And I'm going to try to, flip-flop between bigger pieces, smaller pieces, beige, not beige, and see if that helps. So that is what I'm doing with my Year of Whips. And then, of course, you can't start a new year without a new start, right? So 2017, my New Year's Day start, this is in my architecture bag that my John Reed sampler lived in for forever. That's the inside of it. So a couple of friends and I were talking about some of our class pieces from workshops that we've taken, and part of the reason I quit taking classes is because all of the ones that I've taken, I've put like 3 stitches in, which just seems like a complete waste. So we decided that we were going to take a piece from a class that we had all taken together and work on it in 2017. So technically, I started this in 2009 at the class, but I'm going to consider it a new start, and here's why. So here's the piece. This is Williamsburg Remembered. It's a little needle book with some little smalls. This is Catherine Theron. Here is the other side. Well, I guess you can see that here. So we decided that we were going to work on that. These are scrimshaw pieces that I purchased from Catherine and have. Let me show you those actually. So this was, it was one of the first workshops I ever took through my Tudor Rose Sampler Guild. And look at how she packages these so that they don't get messed up or broken. She puts them in these CD cases. This one's smart lady. So there's a couple of little scrimshaw pieces. And then, so the weekend that I took this, we took 2 pieces. So I've got my scrimshaw pieces for both in here, which are of course made out of antique piano keys. They are not from newly harvested ovary. So those are the scrimshaws, and here's why I'm gonna call this a new start. This is what I have done. I think this counts as a whip. So what you're seeing here is a basting stitch, which is the dotted line. And then underneath that, you're seeing a stem stitch, I think. Anyway, it's a green line. That's it. That's all I have done. So I think we can safely say this is a new start. So I thought that I would start this on January 1st. Here are the threads. And if you've never taken a class from Catherine Theron, I love Catherine. She does some really beautiful pieces. These are the colors, which I think are so pretty. So, but yeah, I think I've taken 4 or 5 classes of hers, and they are mostly all in this same state. So I thought that 2017 would be a good year to try to work on one of these pieces. So, and while I've technically it's a whip, like it's on my whip list in my spreadsheet. But I'm gonna call it my January 1 start. So I'm gonna try to get it out on January and stitch on it. And I will stitch on that for probably the first week of January, and then I will switch off to one of my 12 Year of Whips pieces. So those are my 2017 plans. I'm not making any specific plans around my knitting or my quilting because neither one got a whole lot of attention this year. I definitely want to give them more attention. And there are several quilts that I'd like to really work on this year, as well as I want to finish my Way It shawl that I'm working on knitting wise, and I've got another shawl that I really want to start. So I'll talk more about that in another episode since this one is, almost an hour already. But I don't. My plans for my quilting and knitting are not as defined as my Year of Whips for stitching. So, and I was going to show you one other whip that I've been working on that I forgot to share. So I mentioned last time that I was doing some model stitching for my local needle workshop, and so I got started on that the other night. I worked on my Peace on Earth Blackbird piece through Sunday, so through Christmas Day, and then I started on this on Monday. So this is Plum Street Samplers, Mermaid Fractor, and these are the colors, really pretty. And they gave me 36 count. It calls for 36 count, but it calls for 36 count sea fog, and they gave me 36 count Picture This Plus Earthen. So here is my little bitty start. I love this fabric. So I started with the center of the design, which is that, that big kind of tulip in the middle. Here's the outline of her tail. And I've started on these little waves, and I've got this tiny little fish in here. So I'm enjoying stitching this. I love Picture This Plus fabric. So that's what I'm working on this week. And then, like I said, I'm going to kind of switch off. I'll switch off to my Williamsburg Remembered Catherine Theron piece on January 1. So that's my other WIP that I wanted to show you, my new start. And it's a fun little piece. It's not real big at all. The fabric size is like 9 by 14, so it's not a real big piece. Hopefully I can get that finished and get that back to them. And then, so stash enhancement, I really don't have much, but I just wanted to show you a couple of things. So, as part of my 2017 planning, I purchased Power Sheets. This is the year-long notebook for Power Sheets. This is Laura Casey. You've heard me talk about her before. And so Power Sheets is, it's all about intentional goal setting. So I thought that I would give this a try this year. And it's a beautiful book. And it takes you through, and what I've been working on is all of the prep work so that you can get to your goals for the year. And so it has you look at things like, what kind of obstacles do you have that stand in the way of you, why are you not getting those things done that you want to get done, hitting those goals. She talks a lot about progress over perfection. She has you look at, where are you at? What are you feeling? What worked in 2016? What didn't? What do you want to say yes to in 2017? What do you want to say no to in 2017? So I'm really excited about this book, and I'm going to start a new series, probably on my Cozy Style blog. And I'm going to spend 2017 doing something that I'm going to call 52 weeks of transformation. So I'm going to be really focusing on those things, tending those things that I really want to change or make progress on in 2017, and start, making that transformation into where I want to be, who I want to be, how I want to be. So I'm really excited about that. I think my Power Sheets are going to be really pivotal. And I love this quote from Laura on the back. You should go do them. So it is especially poignant at this time of the year, as we're closing up 2016, looking towards 2017, and especially with all of the recent sudden deaths of George Michael on Christmas Day, Carrie Fisher day before yesterday, and then of course her mother, Debbie Reynolds, yesterday. Between the three of them, plus David Bowie and Alan Rickman and Prince earlier in the year, it really kind of drives that point home, that we don't have forever. And so if if I continue to just kind of bump along with no purpose or focus, that the time just goes by, and I'm no closer to where I want to be than I was when I started. So hopefully 2017 and my 52 weeks of transformation will be helpful to get me farther along that path, and be purposeful and intentional about where I want to be. So I'm really excited about my Power Sheets, and I'm taking this week to work through all of that prep work and start to really define my goals for 2017, and then working on tending those goals over the year. And then the other thing that I wanted to share, so I mentioned last time that I was not able to go to my guild's holiday party for Tudor Rose because I had that horrible migraine and I just couldn't drive. So one of the programs that the guild did this year to try to encourage members to participate more, because it's all volunteer, and if people don't volunteer, then you really don't have a guild. So you need people to help and come up with programs and workshops and all of those good things. And so as a way of giving back to the members, as well as a way of rewarding those that do volunteer and do help out and make suggestions and what have you, they instituted a program where you would earn points for doing things like coming in and helping set up, or bringing refreshments, or making suggestions for programs, or just things like that. And also previously what we have done is for each finish that you bring and share for show and tell, you get your name written on a little slip of paper. It goes in a bucket, and at the end of the year we would draw one name, and that person would get a free membership for the rest of for the next year. And so of course the more finishes you have, the more chances you have to win. And I was the lucky recipient of that a few years ago, which was very nice. But so this year what they did was you got additional points for for your finishes. So at the holiday party, they drew names, or took the people with the most points or something. Obviously I wasn't there, so I'm not entirely sure how they did it, but those people won gifts, and I was one of the people that received something. And so my sweet friend Mary went up and chose for me, and of course everything was wrapped, so it was just sort of a guess if you want the small package or the big package, right? And so here is what she chose for me. So one of my favorite pair of scissors are some matte black Dovo scissors. And so when I saw that these were Dovo scissors, I flipped out. So this very sweet case, zipper case. Look at those lovelies. But that's not all. There's a third pair in here. So this is a beautiful, beautiful case. Obviously these scissors are stunning. Dovos are so well made. I just can't even get over these. And I love that there's so many, there's 3 different sizes. So here's a little tag, if that's gonna focus, not gonna focus, anyway. So it came in this beautiful case, and I'm so excited to use these. So they've been in the box since I got them. And they also came with these little individual sheets. So, Merry Christmas to me. I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. Mary chose so good. These are perfect. So, yeah, so that's it. That's all that I've got. Like I said, I'm going to continue to work on the Mermaid Fractor. And then on January 1st, I'm going to start my Williamsburg Remembered piece. And we'll see how my year of whips go. But hopefully, I will actually be able to get some of these things off of my plate and be done with them, and be able to then concentrate on some of my other whips. So I figure I'm going to start with these 12, and hopefully I can make some good progress on those, and then I may add some other things in if I'm making good progress. But I think that by doing the weekly rotation, that will keep me from getting burnt out on any one project. So fingers crossed. And books, I don't have any here to show you. Last time I told you I had finished The Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, which was awesome. And then I started reading The Nest. I put The Nest down. And I started reading the next book by Sarah J. Maas, The Court of Mist and Fury. Read it. It's so good. And that book's like about this thick. And I just finished it the other day. So good. I finished it Tuesday morning. And then I had to return that book and The Nest. They were both due back. The Nest I had been on the waiting list for forever, but I just wasn't feeling it. So I couldn't renew it because there are other people on the waiting list, so I'll probably put myself back on the waiting list and see if I really want to read it when I get it back. So that's where I'm at, and thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you had a lovely holiday season. Merry Christmas. I love having my Christmas tree here. You probably won't see it again next time. And Happy New Year to everyone. Happy 2017. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one. And again, I am Michelle Cozyegg. You can find me pretty much all of the places as Cozyegg, and there will be a link to my blog where you can get to the show notes that will have links and detailed descriptions and all that kind of stuff. Certainly find me on Instagram as Cozyegg, Flickr, all of those places, Pinterest, whatever. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And Happy New Year.